Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Road to GotY. This time for Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I have a full review up for Sekiro if you want to hear my entire thoughts about this game. I do really like this game. I think it's really good. I think it has some serious problems, especially in New Game Plus, but I do think it's really good. The basic thoughts that I have are gameplay is super tight. And when exploring around the areas and using the tools that you've been given, it's a lot of fun to just mix and match the various different options that you have to be able to do some crazy stuff. I do think, however, that the sheer versatility of everything, of movement, equipment, of switching stuff out and playing around with everything and being able to mess with all of it, I think that works really well up until you get into boss fights, and then it stops working really well. Because at that point, you no longer have the ability to rely on your escapes and getting away and going for death blows. It's almost like Sekiro is two games at the same time. Like, half the time it is a game about stealthily maneuvering and trying to get through areas without triggering all the bad guys at once and taking out every enemy one by one, or taking on the whole horde of enemies, and then how you want to handle it from there. And then the other half of the game is the boss fights, which are duels, which require precision, very, very intense precision, but are a lot of fun most of the time, even through that. And we'll get to, oh, nope, yep, Because, like, the big advantage here is being able to do this, and get away completely, and then come back from a different angle, or lure them out, or use your various abilities to bring them in, you know? It's gonna explode. Oh, I missed. New Game Plus stuff really hurts, by the way. Yep, okay. You do have this resurrect mechanic to help you get back up. As you can tell, I'm pretty bad at this game, too, even though I do really enjoy it. Okay. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Made some mistakes there. I got busy trying to show off. Made some mistakes. I think that when it is the exploration, for the most part, it does it really well. And when it is the boss fights, for the most part, it does it really well. I think it's where the game tries to mix those two aspects that it starts to struggle a little bit. Specifically, the big one would be the later boss fights, where they do so much damage to you that even fully upgraded, there's not much you can do about it. And it leads to frustration, for sure. There are workarounds for most regular enemies in the game, between using your tools and things like that. But most of that stuff doesn't super work on bosses. Oh, that's unfortunate. You get to the point where it's like, well, I have 3 tools that are great for bosses and a bunch that aren't. So I'm gonna focus on using the tools that are great for bosses. And, that should have given me that follow-up. Oh, boy, okay. We're gonna do this. Alright. Oh boy. New Game Plus, they have a lot more health, they hit really hard, they have a lot more stamina. I'm used to them just dying. Like that. Alright, buddy. Alright, you're going down. There we go. Get some health back from this. I think it's absolutely a game worth playing, for sure. And I do think that the duels, most of them, are really fun. When you get into a pattern with a boss and you get their moveset down and you're blocking their attacks and going for specific hits and countering like that with riposte and getting the extra damage in, it's really good. The problem comes when you can't do that. And some of the later bosses in the game, you just can't. The beast bosses, especially, they don't play like a Sekiro boss, which makes them really annoying. They play like a Dark Souls boss, and this is not a Souls game. The big advantage of that would be, or the big example of that would be the fight against the Demon of Hatred, which is maybe the worst fight in the game, because he has incredible range, incredible damage. He can't be, like, staggered. You can't block most of his attacks. He's just really, really annoying. Yep. And it leads to moments where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna die now. because he hit me 3 times over the course of this entire fight. There's also, like, different types of attacks that enemies have. So, like, unblockables, grabs, stabs, things like that. And most of the beast enemies just have grabs. And there's no real punish for that. It's just dodge it or take damage. Firecrackers, slash, slash. Firecrackers, slash. Oh, I missed. Slash, slash. Go. But even on New Game Plus, this stuff is manageable. Like, it's not a problem. It's just unfortunate with how it affects the beast bosses. Because where I'm at on New Game Plus right now is the Guardian Ape, and I have no desire to continue my New Game Plus run. Because of how annoying the Guardian Ape is on New Game Plus. He was already really annoying on regular, but he's just so worse. Plus. I had him locked on before I moved. That didn't give me the follow-up. Was it because I was crouched? Did not get the death blow there, so didn't get the health back. At least the gouging top went through both. Oh, here come the dogs, too. Wonderful. Oh, crud. I think this game's really good, and I love the back and forth of basic combat. I think it's a lot of fun. I love fighting a bunch of the early game bosses. Even some of the late game bosses are incredible. There's some really nice areas in this world and cool stuff to see and explore. Some great secrets and things like that, but the last couple bosses just really wear you down, and especially the final boss, which does incredible damage, has a ton of moves, and has multiple phases, and you don't get any checkpoint between those phases, including having to fight an entire different boss at the start of the final boss fight just to be able to fight the final boss. And like at that point, no, that's too much for even me. I've beaten every Souls game, and I've beaten Sekiro, but he hits so hard. Oh, that's unblockable. The tracking on that, man. Did you see that? What the heck? It tracked again. Man, this is ridiculous. New Game Plus in this game is not great to me. And I get that, like, maybe you just want a good challenge, right? But I think New Game Plus takes it beyond a good challenge in this game and makes it insufferable for me in a lot of ways. Which is a shame, because I do really like the early game, and I like the late game. But I can't get to the late game without having to deal with Guardian Ape. And that fight does not work well in the context of Sekiro. And I think that's supposed to be the point, right? Like, it's a very different fight. You have to play it very differently than you do the rest of the duels, but I just don't think it works. You can say, well, maybe Trey just wants to mash through all the battles. It's like, that's not it. I don't mind strategy. Like, this guy I'm about to fight right here, I can't just mash through him. But it's just what the... Oh, there's 2 of them. Wonderful. Got a few more spirit nibbles back from fighting people. Oh, yeah, that hasn't done a thing. Okay. Oh. Drink, 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 drink. The other one. Yeah, I've heard him coming. That's unblockable. Oh, camera, turn for me. Oh, there's another one behind us, too. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. We're dead. I took a pellet. I wasn't paying. Oh, my gourd's empty. That's why. Okay, maybe they'll leave me alone. Maybe they'll leave me alone. And maybe I just need to spend more time on New Game Plus, but New Game Plus has actually hurt my enjoyment of this game, to be honest with you. Because I really enjoyed Sekiro on the first playthrough. And I still think it's a really well-made game. I just don't think I'll ever play through New Game Plus. Because it just feels hard for the sake of being hard, which is not what the other Souls games are. The difficulty is a vessel for those games, and this one it does not feel like it is in a lot of cases. All right, we're getting out of here. We're getting out of here. We're not gonna fight them anymore. We're gonna probably die fighting this guy. There we go. Yeah, it's just unfortunate because I think that this game is really solid, and maybe I'm just too bad to be able to enjoy New Game Plus. Maybe that's what it is, but I do really like playing this game. It's really cool. It's kind of what I wanted Samurai Souls to be, although it is very different from a Souls game, you know? The boss fights are great. I think the later areas are absolutely amazing. I love those later areas. Fountainhead Palace is amazing. But I was really excited when I started New Game Plus because I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to be able to just breeze through. It'll be wonderful. I'll be able to get to the second half and all the fun stuff. And then I get stuck at Guardian Ape every single time. Not really any more skills that I want. There are some that could be useful. Really any that I want. Not any of so what I'm probably going to do is keep saving to put these points into enhancing attack power. So that I do more damage. But you need 5 and I only have 3. So I could grind. Do it that way. But I don't really want to. Alright, let's take on Guardian 8 one more time. Just show him off. And show off why I have a problem with it. And then we'll call it. I think this game's really good. And I think that with just a little bit more tweaking on these beast bosses, I think they could have been really fun too. A little bit of tweaking on the final boss. But who am I to say tweak it, right? Maybe that's what the devs wanted. And it seems like it is, because that's what's in here. I think, like Bloodborne, which was already a great game, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Bloodborne's bad. I think, like Bloodborne, a little bit of DLC could go a long way in fixing some of these issues. Because Bloodborne was already really good, and then the DLC just made it better, you know? But I hate this boss fight so much. This is my least favorite boss in the entire game. I would rather fight Demon of Hatred than fight this boss again. And you fight this boss twice. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, you fight this boss twice. In the same playthrough. But, like, look how little damage I'm doing to him. It's insane. Oh. And, like, one hit ruins my stamina. His hurt box is so wide. Quick, get over there. Oh, no. He's running. And I think what makes it even more annoying to me is that once you get past the first phase, there's a second phase that has an entirely different moveset, and you won't know how to deal with it because you haven't gotten to it yet. And so every time to get to the second phase, you have to go back through the first, which means you got to deal with all of this again. That's the unblockable. The grab. Which means you're stuck just doing it over and over again until you have a run where you don't mess up. I dodged out of it, but it doesn't matter because the hitbox on that grab is so incredibly large. There's the other grab. Okay, we got some fire damage there. And it's just, again, they play so differently from the regular enemies in the game that I rolled into that one trying to roll away from it, that it just doesn't matter, you know? Alright. There's phase one. There's phase one. Right, fill it up, Wolf. Oh, we were already at full. I wasn't paying attention. Whoops. Okay. Well, that's a waste. Alright, so now we walk just far enough away that second phase starts. Okay. Terror! I forgot to put the bottled purple on here. Terror! Oh, I just blocked it. I didn't deflect it. Dang it! There's an opening there if you deflect that, but I didn't block it. Or I didn't deflect it. I blocked it like a dummy. Terror! And like it's unavoidable damage because you got to be in close to block him to be able to get him to do the fall down. My stamina shot! Yep! Yep! Terror! It doesn't matter, man. And terror will kill you if it hits you. Yep, I rolled instead of jumped. Jump! And you lose lock on him because he's so big. Got it. And like that does way more damage on the regular version of this fight. It does almost nothing here. Yep, that's the... So many unblockables, man. Having to remember all of them and figure them out in like the second time that you have. The seconds of time that you have. Jump. That's the terror. And like that terror attack is just attacks on your healing. That's all it is. But there's nothing you can do about it. You have to manage it. Okay. Got it. And like you can't use too many spirit emblems because you need them for this phase. For the snake, or the centipede that is. There. Like you have to save your spirit emblems from the first half of the fight to be able to use them on the second half of the fight. When like, just let me fight this guy again later, you know? All I'm doing is complaining in this video. This is supposed to be talking about how good Sekiro is. But like, despite all those complaints, look how well it plays. That's what it comes down to for Sekiro's gameplay. The areas are cool. Most of the enemies are really cool. That's an unblockable. But the gameplay is like top notch. The deflecting feels on point. Especially in like a duel against a human opponent. Some more terror. That's the, oh, I tried to jump. In my head, I said jump, and I still didn't jump. Heal. No! Oh, that last second block. Terror. Guard up. And I know people have said we'll use the terrain, like jump around using the grappling hook. It's like if I do that, I lose lock on him, and because of how quickly he can jump, if I lose lock on him, I'm in trouble, you know? I could just outright die if I lose block on him. Ah! Again, just so many unblockables, and now I'm out of healing. I have no more healing, so he'll kill me this time. That wasn't a deflect, it was just a block. It feels really bad when you block that instead of deflecting it too, because you have so few chances for it during the fight, and it's free damage if you do it. So it just feels bad. Jump! Oh, I thought I hit block. I blocked that though, game! I'm stuck in a wall. Do I have any sources of healing left? Anything at all? Oh, I have a Divine Grass. I don't really want to use it here, but I will because I need to heal. Oh, I jumped it. I jumped it. I jumped it. I jumped it. Jump! That's terror! A bunch of damage we didn't have to take. Again. Oh, come on, man. That's what I thought. Those don't really work anymore. Terror. Any healing. Anything at all. Anything at all, man. Could have used the confetti to be doing extra damage, but I wouldn't have time to do it again in the middle of a fight. No, I have no healing left. Okay, well, this is where we die. Jump. The head. Again, unavoidable damage. There's if you're going into attack, there's nothing you can do. I should have jumped. Head. You have to see it coming by so much to be able to do anything about it. Oh, I got one hit in there. It's over. It's over. He's getting me on this next one. Yep. Yep. And there we go. With all that said, this has been my terrible video on why I love Sekiro. Because all I ever do when I talk about Sekiro is complain, because I just can't seem to get across why I like the game. But until next time, I've been Trey. This has been The Full Spectrum. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Sekiro has to offer.